All right, guys, so today I'm going to be talking about how it formed the greatest and most powerful empire of all time, the Roman Empire. Now, you might be thinking, Joe, if you formed the Roman Empire, then how come you were never mentioned in the history book? Now, to that I say, shut your mouth and listen, because that part comes later. All right, let's start. The year is 800 BC, and I, Joe Biden, or as I was known back then, well, Elias Bidenus, I'm living in ancient and is selling camels to Persian tourists. Or as they were called back then, invaders. Everything was going well. But then it got better. I thought of a genius idea. Instead of waiting for the Persians to come and sell them the camels, then I would just go to Persia and sell them the camels there. So I went on my way, and along the way I found this weird-looking dog, but he was friendly, so I took him in as a pet. After a while, I thought I'd gotten lost, but I finally encountered some civilization. I went to ask the people where I was, but the people there were really weird-looking, and they spoke gibberish. But then I realized my map was upside down the entire time, and I had actually ended up in ancient China because the people there had never seen a black guy before. They were looking at me like I was the weird-looking one with no eyes. I spent the next couple of years learning Chinese so I could ask the locals how the hell I get to Persia. After I became fully fluent in Chinese, I bought a map from some guy, and I went on my way. After years of traveling and encountering some weird-looking people, to say the least, I finally got to Persia. It was colder than I thought it would be, and the people looked different from how I remembered them. It's safe to say that wherever the hell I was, it wasn't Persia. Now, I heard from a wise old Chinese guy that all birds go south in the winter. Now, I'm not sure what exactly south means, but hopefully that's where Persia is. After following where the birds were going, I ran into some water and was way too tired to swim, so I just decided to settle down. I was really buff back then, so many women moved in near my house, but I only went out with some of them. So when other men heard that this town was nine women, they moved in and hoped that some of the women would realize that I would never date them and settle down with someone less cool than me. Little did I realize that I accidentally met the biggest city in all of Italy. I declared myself emperor of the new city that I named after my dogroom. People called it the Roman Empire. While Rome was the empire, was nowhere to be found. There was only one thing I could do, and that is conquer. I started off by conquering all of Italy, which wasn't that hard. There wasn't really a powerful country in Italy, but then I faced my biggest enemy, a Carthage, an African power. That was the big bad of the Mediterranean. It took me a while, but I finally took them out after 3 massive wars, but it cost me a lot, and that kid's why I hate Africans. The next years, I spent conquering the world, Iberia, Anglia, Anatolia, Egypt, Mesopotamia, and Greece all fell to my mighty army. I had done it. Most of the known world was under my control. My empire was the greatest the world has ever seen. Now it was time to enjoy my empire. But there were still the major threats to my power. The Persian Empire, the very same place I was trying to find all those years ago, and the other was the Roman people themselves, who for some reason weren't exactly sure that I was the most competent leaders. But for now, life is good. Me, my wife, and dog were living in Rome and enjoying our power. One of my most memorable moments was when we got this guy to fight an elephant in the Colosseum. Now, this was common, but what made this special was the fact that the guy actually managed to beat the elephant when it slipped on a conveniently placed banana. The guy looked so happy that he had just won his freedom, but then my dog just straight up ate him raw. Another time I was going all Indiana Jones in Egypt exploring the pyramids when I fell in a hole full of big-ass ants. I started running away from the ants when I saw this goofiest looking guy who was for some reasons wrapped in toilet paper. I managed to deliver the ants to that guy. My favorite thing about Rome was the communal toilets. Back then there wasn't any toilet paper. Instead we used communal sponges. So me and my homies would wait for someone to go in, and we'd go in after him and take all the communal sponges and just leave that guy. There was shit all over his ass. That shit was hilarious. All was well, but then something horrible happened. I went on vacation to Spain, and while I was away, some guy called Caesar and his supporters marched on Rome and took over the empire for himself. I rushed back to Rome, but Caesar's legion arrested me on the spot, and I was sentenced to fight a lion in the Colosseum with the bastard Caesar watching. The day came, and they released the lion, but obviously I was stronger than a lion, so I absolutely destroyed it. Caesar was mad and sent his troops to execute me, but little did he know that I was also the fastest man on the planet, so I ran away all the way to modern Russia. I spent the next couple of years hiding in Rome looking for people to fight for me and tried to restore my reign. But I had no luck, so I gave up and spent the next couple of decades doing what I was always made to do, sell camels in Persia. Caesar had removed my name from all the history books and made up somebody. Yes, in a matter of a couple of generations, everybody had forgotten me, and no one I would tell would believe me. So yeah, it's unfortunate that I don't get the credit I deserve, but honestly, I don't really care. Anyway, guys, that's it. See you in the next video.